Welcome to Leadership Wisdom with Frenetta Tate. This is She Told Herself the Truth, a series about the private conversations we have with ourselves before anything changes on the outside. The moments when we stop explaining, stop negotiating with what we already know, and become willing to hear our own truth. Not because truth always makes the next step easy, but because it makes the next step ours. So let's begin. This is episode 1. She wasn't confused, she just didn't like the answer. Sometimes confusion isn't confusion at all. Sometimes we know the answer, we just haven't made peace with what that answer requires. And I think there's a difference because when we're genuinely confused, we're missing something. Maybe we don't have enough information. Maybe we haven't seen the whole picture. Maybe there are things we still need to understand. But there are other times when we have plenty of information, right? We've seen the pattern. We've had the conversation. We've watched what happened. We've watched what didn't happen. We've given it time. We've asked the questions. We've talked to people we trust. We've probably even had a few conversations with ourselves about it. And yet we keep searching. One more conversation, one more opinion, one more article, one more sign, one more opportunity for the situation to become something other than what it has consistently shown us that it is. And sometimes we call that confusion. But is it? Or are we searching for an answer that asks less of us? Because that's the difficult part about clarity. Clarity creates responsibility. Once I admit that I know, I have to decide what I'm going to do with what I know. And sometimes that decision has a cost, right? It may mean having a conversation you've been avoiding. It may mean admitting that something isn't working. It may mean setting a boundary. It may mean staying and doing some uncomfortable work. It may mean acknowledging your own role in what's happening. It may mean changing your expectations. And yes, sometimes it may mean leaving. But telling yourself the truth doesn't automatically tell you what action to take. It simply removes your ability to pretend you don't see what's in front of you. And I think that's where some of us get stuck. We think we're waiting for clarity, but what we're really waiting for is certainty. We want to know that if we make this decision, everything is going to work out, that we won't regret it, that nobody will be disappointed, that we won't lose anything, that the next thing will be better, that we're making the right choice. But truth doesn't always come with those guarantees, right? Sometimes all you get is, this isn't working. I don't want this anymore. Something has to change. I need to have this conversation. I've been avoiding my responsibility here. I know what I need. I know what I keep tolerating. I know what I've been afraid to admit. And that's it. No 5-year plan attached. No guarantee, just truth. And maybe that's why we resist it. Because as long as I can say I don't know, I don't have to move. I can keep gathering information. I can keep analyzing. I can keep asking. I can keep waiting. I can stay exactly where I am and call it discernment. And listen, discernment matters. Taking your time matters. thinking carefully about decisions that affect your life, your career, your family, your finances, your relationship, that matters. This isn't about making impulsive decisions. It's about recognizing when reflection has quietly turned into avoidance. And there's a difference. One helps you see more clearly, the other keeps you from acting on what you already see. And only you know which one you're doing. That's why this series is called She Told Herself the Truth. Because before we tell everybody else, before the announcement, before the resignation, before the boundary, before the difficult conversation, before the new beginning, before any of that, there is usually a private moment, a moment when nobody else is in the room, and you stop explaining, you stop rehearsing, you stop negotiating. Okay, you stop trying to make the evidence say something different, and you tell yourself the truth. Maybe you don't act that day, maybe you're not ready yet, or that's okay. But something has changed within you because now you know that you know. And once you told yourself the truth, the question becomes different. It's no longer, what should I do? Sometimes the more important question is, what am I willing to do about what I already know? And truth minus fear equals clarity. And clarity multiplied by action builds self trust. Not because every decision will be perfect, not because you'll never get anything wrong, but because you begin learning that when you see something clearly, you can trust yourself to respond to it. So here's the question I want to leave with you. What are you still calling confusion because you don't like what the answer may require of you? You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell anybody. But maybe it's time to tell yourself. She told herself the truth. Now, what will she do with it? She told herself the truth. And maybe today you did too. Maybe this was what you needed. You don't have to have the whole plan. You don't have to know exactly what comes next. But don't abandon what you know just because acting on it may require something of you. Sit with it. Be honest with yourself. And when you're ready, choose what comes next from a place of truth. I'm Frenetta Tate, and this is She Told Herself the Truth on Leadership Wisdom. Until next time, trust what you know and have the courage to tell yourself the truth.